Okay, so we're on our final success criteria, which is that you can represent a relation with mapping notation and identify the domain and the range. And I think you'll find mapping notation to be fairly easy. So this is what mapping notation looks like. Basically, it's very similar to a table, except instead of putting it in a table, we've got the two columns and we're just drawing lines to match them up. So when you look at this mapping notation, the domain is always your X or your first one, always. Your domain is always your first one. Your range is always the second. That's just the way it's going to be. Domain, range. They don't ever flip that on you. Okay? So which makes it very easy when you go to state your domain and range, because basically you're just going to repeat those numbers that are in those boxes. And again, when you do your domain and your range in your mapping notation, you don't repeat numbers. So in other words, over here, -5, 5, 10, and 15, they're all different numbers. If you were using the same number, you would just write it in there once and draw a line to it twice. So that would be your domain and range. So whether it's a function is pretty easy, because all you need to do is look at each of your x's and see if they have more than one arrow going from them. And if you'll look, each one of these only has one arrow. Therefore, this is a function. Okay, this is a function because each one of these x's only goes over to one person. Number 2, your domain. Again, -3, 1, -1, 3. We never repeat again in our mapping notation. 11, 2, 5, 8. So your domain is really easy. Again, now to see if it's a function, I just check to see if 3, does it just have one arrow going from it? Yes. 1 has just one arrow, -1 has one arrow, and 3 has one arrow. So this is a function. Okay? And then the last one here, again, my domain would be -2, 3, 4, and 6. My range would be 3, 8, and 12. Okay? So again, I'm going to see, is it a function? From -2, is there only one arrow? Yes. -3, or 3, is there one arrow? Yes. 4, one arrow. 6, one arrow. Yes. So this is a function. Okay? Now, I'll show you just real quick what's not a function. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. But before I go to the next slide, I want to just show you what this actually means. So let me get rid of this here. Let me just show you what that chart actually means. It actually means the point -5. When I input a -5, I'm going to output 26. When I input 5, or my x value is 5, my y value would be 26. When I put 10 in, it goes to 16, and 15 goes to 6. So it's just a set of points. It's just like a t-table. It's just a different way of writing it. Okay? So now let's look at one that is not a. Okay, so on this number 4 here, if I look at my domain, again, it's a -2, -1, 0, 1. My range is going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so that's the easy part. So then what I do is I go to my table of my mapping, and I look at -2, and I say, does -2 have more than one arrow going from it? And you can see really easily that it does, that a -2 maps to 4, and a -2 maps to 0. So this one would not be a function. Not a function. Okay? Not a function. So, and again, because you can see really easy that -2 map to two different things. Okay, I'm going to let you try them, and then we'll come back.